welcome to the Engagement Fit Drive podcast. We're so happy to have you join us. And together with Tracy, Andrew, and Claire, let's make bringing your drives to life practical and fun. In our Drives and Action episodes, we'll share stories of drives at play in everyday scenarios, so you can relate and gain deeper understanding of your drives. In our Driving Impact episodes, we'll sit down with incredible guests who are using the Drive framework and tools to create meaningful impact, both professionally and personally. Whether you're here to better understand yourself, your team, or simply curious about living a thriving and inspired life, you're in the right place. So let's dive in.
In our last podcast, we spoke about the Enthusiast Drive, and in this podcast, we will discuss the Fixer Drive. Andrew, will you please take us through the definition?
Thank you, Claire. As a fixer, you tend to be naturally drawn to some kind of weakness, problem, or anything that needs fixing. When you add the relevant skills to this drive, you will become a tremendous fixer, healer, or restorer. When things run smoothly and there are no challenges or problems, you may tend to become bored or frustrated. Sometimes you may even break something in order to fix it again. You may be very good at spotting weaknesses in a process, argument, or structure. You probably love to put things back together, especially when you have the mandate to do this. You will tend to have a restoring effect on whatever you choose to direct this theme toward, be that relationships, people, or things. You can be relied upon to fix weaknesses and solve problems. Fixers are highly energized when they can fix something or heal someone, and they thrive in conditions where there are problems, challenges, things that need fixing or restoring, or people who need healing.
The needs of the Fixer Drive. They need concrete problems and challenges to solve. To seek out the weakness first, and things to fix or heal. Let's look at the boosters and contrast. There's only one of each. The fixer booster is an integrator. Both want to restore things. Fixers want to restore broken things or people back to their functional state, while integrators are holistic thinkers and want to restore things or people back towards wholeness. The contrasting drive for a fixer is impact player. Impact players want to take something or someone to the next level of excellence or success, whereas fixers want to work on what is broken and to restore it back to a functional state. The positive aspects of this drive as a fixer. A person with this drive strong will naturally be drawn to people or things that are broken or have problems that need a solution or anything that needs fixing. There are a great deal of professions where having this drive can really enhance the contributions that can be made to others. Example, therapeutic, remedial, or medical industries, researchers, IT support, computer programmers, IT developers, restoring houses, furniture, cars, etc., and any profession where there are problems to solve. A person with this drive strong can also add value by pressure testing solutions so that they are viable and practical solutions. A person who has fixer drive dominant and who manages it well identifies weaknesses, masters the art of troubleshooting, and finds answers to real-world problems.
When this drive is mastered, a person fixes, heals, or restores within healthy boundaries while not taking ownership of others' problems and not destructively focusing on one's own perceived weaknesses. However, when this drive is mismanaged, a person may have a problem-focused mindset, be critical, negative, or self-critical. Accept that you can't fix or heal everyone. Manage your need to fix others' problems and never be more invested in fixing them than they are. as this can lead to enabling dysfunctional behavior by removing natural consequences and accountability.
Andrew, Claire, and myself, not having a dominant fixer drive, have invited a special guest, Anne, to share her insights on what fixer drive looks like for her, as well as her drainer being an impact player. Stay with us as we have this lovely conversation with Anne sharing her drive. Welcome, Anne. We are very blessed to have you. Thank you for joining us. I just want to start by asking you, what was your greatest take from doing the engagement fit assessment?
It makes you recognize yourself, if that makes sense. And perhaps it makes you look at yourself less negatively, which is not easy for me. So I'd say that you recognize yourself and then you understand yourself better.
Well, you understand who you are and why you do the things that you do.
Yes, and you recognize that in yourself and then you think, oh, that's okay.
Yeah, that's who I am. That's actually where my natural energy lies. That's where my talents are. And what you said just now about, especially for you, because that fixer drive can turn towards themselves and always be looking at what's wrong with me and trying to fix yourself. Does that resonate with you?
Yes, and with me, it would be dissatisfaction because perhaps I'm not fixing enough of myself.
Yes, awareness that, yes, we're always doing the best we have with the tools we've got. We don't always have to be fixing. So I just
being disappointed because we have tools and perhaps we're not using them as best we should.
Yes, I agree. And life is about that. The first point of call is awareness, and then we can move on and be better human beings, which I think we're all trying to be. So I just want to share with our listeners that Anne and I got together a little bit before this call for the podcast. And initially, when we first started speaking, I mentioned I'd been having problems with my horse's feet. And Anne, in true fixer energy, was already giving me solutions and very in-depth information and knowledge about how I could sort this problem out. So, Anne, you truly are a dominant fixer. And so I'd just like you to share with us how that shows up in your life. Maybe give us some examples of how you go through the world with this very dominant fixer drive.
So if I start with where we started our conversation earlier, horses, for example. So that's a huge one because it's a passion of mine. If there's an issue with horses, which there always are, let's be honest. Yes, I'm obsessed with making sure that I fix it to avoid the problem going forward. And that's become a bit of an unhealthy, possibly fixer on my behalf. I want to make sure it must be perfect all the time. And so I continually research or want to fix, work at it, find better ways. And it can take up too large a chunk of my life. Sometimes I think that is where there are many places in my life where I love my fixerness and it gives me joy. And but there's some things where I can be too driven to fix where possibly you can't fix. And it's difficult to accept when you can't fix. I can't let it go even though I know I should. And it's difficult to forgive yourself for not fixing, even though you know you can't.
And when you say perfect, and when you want it to be perfect, do you mean perfect or do you mean to restore it back to the way it was functioning?
To have no problems.
No
To
problem.
have no issues. To have no issues and problems.
Okay, everything must be working the way it was.
Yes.
And we did speak a little bit earlier because I just want to, just the definition or the actual strong fixer drive is to take something that's not working or there is a weakness and to restore it back to its original form, back to the way it was. But when we spoke earlier, when I asked you that question, we saw that your innovator is also very dominant. So for you, it's not always just a case of restoring it back to the way it was, but actually, how could it be better or how could it be improved? Is that correct?
Yes. Yes. So if it were, say, if it was the horse, I want them to be the best they can be, not how I found her or how she would currently be, or you want them to be better by working at them, finding solutions. And then if the others, so if I take another hobby of mine, I love to restore furniture, for instance, love it. I love to get old buggered pieces and turn them into something beautiful, and don't get enough time to do it, but it absolutely feeds my soul doing that. I could do that all day. And decorating and working, that's why I keep buying these buggered homes, because I love to fix them up. I don't fear it. So I love to take something that's really touchy and make it into something beautiful. And I love that feeds my soul. Whereas then when I have something like, say, an issue that I can't fix, it me at the horse. So imagine I was in your position and I have other issues, but imagine her feet are not perfect. They say for now, with this, I do have some issues. And say, example, my horse's feet, I get frustrated and annoyed and anxious. I get anxious when I can't fix it to what I know it should be. So there's the two sides of it. One feeds my soul, and one just, oh, I wish I could let it go and not care like other people.
And it's the case of the things that are in your control, like the furniture and how you do that. That is very easy solvable. But things that are out of our control, like the horses can't talk to us. It could be the feet. There could be other contributing factors. And that's going down a whole rabbit hole on its own, as well as if you lean towards trying to fix people. With that comes so much complexity and things that are out of our control. I think that's where you probably found the frustration. It's not as clear cut.
Yes. So people, and again, I can say my sister, for example, and Tracy's met my sister before. So this is where I have been quite good, is when she was having some troubled times, I was there to do everything for her until I realized it was too much. I couldn't do it all. And I had to realize that I had to wean her off me in a way. But she will phone me with any given problem, and the will to want to just fix it for her, solve it for her, or my dad, whatever problem comes, I just want to fix it. And by hook or by crook, it's amazing how you find ways to fix things when you have to. And yes, sometimes with people also, maybe they don't want you to fix, or they don't want you to fix the way you want to fix. So that's where some conflict can happen with people, is they want you to fix it and you want to fix it your way, and they may not appreciate that as much. Or you just want to take over their problems and do everything for them, because sometimes that's also easier and more satisfying.
People are tricky, and for exactly that reason, that sometimes people have to go through their own journey. They have to. How else do they learn? We have to suffer a little bit in order to learn from our mistakes. And the whole pain and pleasure part of things is we don't want the pain. So what are we going to do to get out of that pain? And having somebody always doing that for you, you take away the consequences for that person. And as you say, that person may want you to do it, but they don't really want you to do it the way they would like it done. How much fixing can I do? The fixer is an accomplishing drive. So it's a doing drive. You want to do it for them. And maybe the restraints could be in the advice, the knowledge that I have because I've fixed this problem before. This is what I can advise you, but not actually doing it for them. That could be a way of working with that strong fixer drive, and then giving them advice.
It's something I've had to learn over years, is to be careful of giving advice. And when you do so with caution, but also realize you can't do it all.
No, it's not for you to do. Obviously, we're going to talk about situations and context, but your children that need help, you're going to absolutely do it for them and get it done. no questions asked, or a family member that's in dire need, and it's not a thing that's a recurrent thing because they're not learning them.
Yeah.
So I think context to take into account, asking those questions, is this for me to do? Am I going to be crossing boundaries? Do I have the capacity? All of those questions can also play into whether you actually take on this or not, because it energizes you. But we also only have so much energy a day, so much brain energy, so much physical energy. And just to remind everyone listening that when we are feeling drained by our drives, so we know we're mismanaging them. When you're starting to feel resentful or you're feeling drained, you are mismanaging those drives, because your drives bring you energy and you need to keep it. And have you been given negative feedback from other people about your fixer drive?
I'm trying to think of particular instances. Perhaps that it's too much energy, maybe for some people. So I tire them out. But no, I wouldn't say. I think sometimes I feel like I launched when you happened to mention you have a problem with horse feet, and I launched into my whole spiel without thinking. I think maybe that happens, and then you immediately get that feel from the person that they're going, "Oh, do you think you know everything?" And I don't mean it in that way, that I think I know everything at all. I just am trying to be helpful. I think I can help you fix your problem. And I don't think it always is appreciated, because people are not always asking for help, and they're not expecting or wanting someone to fix their problems. And then I go in there and my sort of start analyzing everything to see, oh, I would do this and I would do that and I would do that, especially if it's a topic that I feel I know something about. But so I think that possibly doesn't always go down. I think people don't always take it the right way.
Yes. And it's, as we said, your natural, you're energized. Your brain is already thinking, how can I help?
And they think I'm criticizing. Yeah.
Yes. So that's just what I'm going to say, that people can perceive you as being critical, but it's actually, you see the weakness that they jump out at you. It's so obvious to you. And you thrive in solution-orientated environments where you can bring this fixer energy into sorting this problem out. You're so good at diagnosing root issues. You bring clarity where others feel stuck, because fixer is a drainer for somebody. People don't even want to go there. They don't want to think about how to sort this out. They get exasperated about it. They may even shut down a little bit, whereas you bring this huge amounts of energy because it energizes you to get into it. So I think, and just, it's always about communication. If we can communicate, it solves a lot of problems. Do you want my advice? This is what I see. Are you happy for me to share? Would you like me to help you solve this problem? It's just reading the room sometimes as well.
Yes.
If we can talk about, because you do have impact player as a drainer, which is the contrasting drive to fixer. So the impact player is all about excellence, and it's a contrast to fixer drive, because it's not only about restoring. The impact player wants to take something to the next level, to make it even better. It's all about excellence. There's a lot of emphasis on making an impact at that next level. Can you talk a little bit about how that play in your life of it being a drainer?
I think it makes me feel anxious, because I can feel anxious quite easily. So I don't know if that's correct, but that would make me feel anxious, because I don't think I achieve. Yeah. And you feel that a forcefulness, or I just want to retreat.
And I hear what you're saying about wanting to retreat, and it's probably because you feel pushed out of your comfort zone. That's exactly what impact players do. They put themselves in uncomfortable situations because they are striving for the next level, wanting to learn something more, experience something more. They're always looking ahead. So I can see how that could, because they might make you feel just that pressure So I see how that could be a drainer for you. But impact players, they really do stay level-headed in stressful situations. And they do create a level of excellence. They will push the people around them to be better, do better. And for some people, because it makes you feel uncomfortable, you may feel that they're being a bit hard because they're challenging, right? They do challenge you to be better than where you are now. So I see how that can relate to you. And as I said earlier, they want to take something to the next level. This is why it's a contrast. Is the fixer wants to take that thing that's broken and restore it back to its original state, where it's functioning again. Okay, extra energy, extra emphasis on getting it to the next level. So a drainer for you, as in putting that pressure on actually getting it right, making an impact. Does that
And
sound?
maybe feeling inadequate because you just not going to that level.
So
You
let
feel fall short, yeah, and you don't want to compete. That doesn't make sense. I wouldn't want
Yeah.
to compete with that. So I will run a mile because I don't want to compete. I feel a sense of competition.
yes, and the impact player is, although it's not the competitor drive,
Yeah, it's not a competitive, but it's yeah.
it is increasing the pressure, increasing the next level. And you will feel that pressure when you're around an impact player. It's always a level of excellence. Bring your A game. You do feel an intenseness around them, definitely. Is there anything else that you want to add about your fixer? I know you've mentioned there's been a lot of awareness and you are growing and continue to grow around this drive.
Yeah, it's just that it's the positive parts of the fixing that do energize, as you see your word, energize me tremendously. And then there's the downside of it that is just can cause you to feel anxious because when you can't fix. So those are the two sort of sides to it.
And then how do you manage that, Anne? When you come to the conclusion you've done everything you can, how do you find that you manage that?
I don't. I don't think I'm managing it very well. There are days where I feel better about it, and there are days where it really can get to me. And if you're feeling like I'm not completing things, because if I look around and think, oh, I haven't gotten to that because I've always got a lot of things on the go at the same time. And so if I feel I'm not getting to those things, I can feel really down on myself thinking, oh, I'm not getting to it. I'm not getting to it. I'm not getting to it. But so having a job like I do, that grounds me because I know it's something that I have to do every day. It's fixing all the time because it's doing stuff. So I feel like I'm accomplishing, and it makes me forgive myself for not getting to all the things I can't get to. But there are still some particular things that do sit there making me feel anxious because I feel I'm not getting to them and I'm not managing it well.
Yes, and I think, Anne, when I'm hearing you talk, you're bringing in your finisher drive. The finisher is energized by finishing things, and they feel it's an internal pressure that you put on yourself to actually get things done.
Yeah.
So I think that's more the finisher drive as opposed to the drive. But in saying that, you put that internal pressure on yourself, and it doesn't have to be done today. You putting yourself under that pressure. So it's
Yes,
yeah. So
that I'm aware of.
yes. And at the end of the day, rather go look at everything I have done. Look at what I've accomplished today. Because I'm looking at your drive. Definitely, you do get a lot done during the day. And yes, it might not be, you might have used a lot of energy, like you say, in actually troubleshooting, researching in order to fix a problem. Don't underestimate the value that brings, because if you don't do that, how can you fix? So the strong accomplishing part of it is seeing something for your hard work. But remember, you need to have that time for reflection, for maybe researching. That's also part of it. So I think if you acknowledge that the productivity is not always just in doing something. Sometimes it's in thinking. Sometimes it's in relating, having deep, meaningful conversations, to glean more information that you need. Does that land with you, Anne?
Yes, I like to have conversations to glean what I need. Yeah, that's one thing I do if I find willing people who don't mind to be gleaned.
So be kind to
But
yourself. See the value in that. Yes, maybe you haven't accomplished something physically, or there's nothing to show for it, but it's been important to you. It's made you feel good. It's made you, how much value it's added to you that day.
not just ticked my to-do list off.
Yes. Yes, this is what we have to get the balance right. These three domains that we have: thinking, accomplishing, and relating. We need to get a little bit out of each of those, but when we dominance in one, that's when we beat ourselves up, and that inner critic comes in. So we need the balance. We do need to reflect. We do need to all need to accomplish things, but we also have to build lovely, strong, healthy relationships. And this has been amazing. Thank you for your insight. We really appreciate what you've shared with us. And what advice would you like to give someone who is a strong fixer?
I think that some things are not meant to be fixed, and are not there for you to fix. Learn to let go what's not for you to fix. Learn to breathe and walk away, and fix the things you can and the things that energize you.
The things that are in your control. Yes, I like that. Super. Thank you so much.
While there's nothing wrong with fixing weaknesses, be careful not to use this drive to constantly look for weaknesses in yourself, as this can lead to negativity, self-doubt, and the breakdown of your self-confidence. Rather, remind yourself that you are a natural fixer, and then begin working at becoming a better fixer.
Thanks for joining us on this exciting journey of self-discovery and fulfillment. We hope you found inspiration, practical takeaways, and maybe a deeper understanding of how drives work in action. If you want to discover your drives, head over to engagementfit.com and take the drive assessment. If you loved this episode, remember to hit the subscribe button. We'd also love to hear your thoughts, so leave us a review or share this episode with someone who's ready to unlock their drives and thrive. Until next time, keep driving towards a life of meaningful impact.